What does reaching people for Jesus and having an intentional evangelism plan have to do with developing a good stewardship plan? Well, it has a great deal. And in this video segment, we're going to focus upon the need to have an intentional evangelism strategy as a part of having a healthy stewardship plan. Let's think for a few minutes about the connection between an intentional evangelism strategy on the one hand and a good healthy stewardship plan or strategy on the other. What I want to share with you is just an example of a church, their actual figures in terms of giving and worship attendance. Let's say that you have a church that last year received $251,581 in undesignated receipts. And let's say that that same church experienced an average worship attendance of 170 people. If you divided 251,581 by the 170 people in average worship attendance, you would come up with a number of $1,480 per person. So this is basically the per capita giving of each of the worshipers in that particular congregation. Now, what does evangelism have to do with that? Well, if that same church in the next year were to intentionally share the gospel and as a result reach 10 more people for Christ, and let's say that those 10 more people were discipled as good stewards, then the end result very well could be an increase of $14,800. Now, if you wanted to do a study similar to this, you'll note on the screen, you take your figures. Actually, I'd encourage you to look at last year's or your most recent annual church profile. And first of all, get your undesignated receipt figure. And then divide that by your average worship attendance last year. And what you're going to come up with is you're going to come up with the per capita giving as it relates to the worshipers in your worship services. And again, if you were to reach 10 more people in the next year for Christ, you would multiply 10 times that per capita figure to give you an idea of the potential connection between intentional evangelism, reaching people and the discipling them, and then also seeing an increase in resources to be able to further your church's mission in your context. Now, I want you to realize what I am not saying is, I'm not saying that we should reach people in order to get their money. Obviously, I'm not saying that. We share the gospel and we reach people for Christ so that they can experience eternal life, so that they can cross over from death to life, so that they can have a relationship with Jesus. But one of the byproducts of reaching people for Jesus and discipling them in the faith is that those people begin to give. And they begin to support the work of the church and the kingdom. And as a result, you will see a greater level of resources to be able to do more ministry. So as you think about developing an intentional evangelism strategy, think about that connection between reaching people and also having a healthy stewardship plan. Reach them, disciple them, and see your resources increase. For more information on developing an intentional evangelism strategy, please contact the Church Development Team office or the Evangelism Growth Team office at the numbers on your screen, or visit our website at www.kybaptist.org. Thank you.